Hello. What makes me very angry is when I hear people talk about not worshiping false gods. Uh, if if I told you to honor a man named George, and you asked why should I honor this man named George, and I told you, well, he is the Lord of Awesome, therefore you should honor him. Well, I mean, the stupid amongst us might say, oh, well, hey, I'm gonna worship the Lord or honor the Lord of Awesome. But a rational person would only honor a man based on his character. What is his character? And it is the same with this so called God. You know, the false uh, religious turns God into an ego, turns God into a title. Worship the Lord of Awesome. And so when we read, you need to figure out what's the character of this God, and we will try to discover that character in the Lamentations. I think Lamentations is written by Jeremiah. He it's coming right after him, but I don't know. Who cares? Because we will learn more about this author from these words than we will from his name. We could say that the man's true name is his character. And so, do do do. Um, but let's try to figure this out. Now, I haven't prepared an outline. I've read maybe half this first page. So let's do it. Um, Jerusalem once was a city full of people. But now the city is so empty. Right now, this is Lamentations, and um, of course, this is these are Meso-Egyptians. These these Jews are Meso-Egyptians, and so we have to think of this type of literature. And I mean, this author is being very sarcastic. You know, he's not really crying. He's not really sad. He is mocking the Jews for their pride. This is a righteous man who loves his God. Once Moses got the Jews out into the desert, he started knocking off all the wicked Jews. This man does not put his tribe above his God. He is mocking the Jews for their pride. So he is not sad whatsoever. Now this is the first line, and so of course it's probably gonna reverberate at some point. Right now, all we could think of is that God wants us to be fruitful and prosperous, but that's not happening here. She was one. She was one of the greatest cities in the world, but now she is like a poor widow. Now, so he's mocking them in their aspirations towards greatness. Now, we have to wonder what he means by great, right? Um, but this is being linked to a poor widow, so we would have to assume the poor widow refers to a dead soldier, and so this is a military greatness. Like, our country is great, right? Our tribe is great, right? So this is really a condemnation of nationalism. It's a condemnation of tribalism, right? God is the virtue, and law are the distinction. And there are people who are for law and for freedom, and there are those who are against law and against freedom, and that's the distinction. And anyone in your tribe who is against law and against freedom is not within your tribe. And so the nationalist, though, doesn't really care about the criminals within their tribe. They don't care about the crimes they commit towards other tribes. The nationalist, many times, is a man whose status is hatred to the world. Okay, now the following I like, right? She was once a princess among cities, but now she has been made a slave. And down here we have her princes were like deer that cannot find a meadow to feed in, right? So let's go with this line. And what's that saying? Like, so the princes are the leaders of the Jews, right? And you can really tell who someone is during a time of trouble. And so, who are these leaders of the Jews? Well, they were like deer, right? So what he's clearly saying is privilege. He's saying that the Jews of this time were a society of privilege, where the top Jew was a Jew who got there through nepotism and privilege and connections and money, and not through merit. Right? Because a man of merit during a time of trouble would not be a deer. So this God, the God of this author of Lamentations, is a God of merit. The true distinction between men. Right? I mean, the man who goes out and is able to produce, like in our society and in all societies, they take away the people's power to produce. Production is held within the hands of the few. That's how it's always been, no matter the stage that one is upon. In substance, they're all the same. So this is criticizing privilege, and so there's definitely in this line right here privilege being criticized. But there's more going on in this line too, not just privilege, but it says to not dote on your daughters. You know, do not treat them like princesses. You know, you don't treat a woman with praise. You don't treat a man with praise. You know, you treat a good heart with praise. You know, you treat ability with praise. And clearly, you know, you do not treat you treat a woman no differently than you treat your son. You treat your daughter no differently than you treat your son. That is the distinction between how a Jew raises a woman and how a Gentile raises a woman. The Jew raises the woman with respect, according to this author, and the author who said, "Do not dote upon your daughter." Both of these men are in agreement. Right, so he's mocking the princess. He's mocking those who get false praise. Right, because again, this is about slavery. Right, boom, princess, slave. Right, the man of ability, the woman of ability is free. Right, I mean, how many people have no ability and yet they're at the top, right? So he's this is the God, and to worship, to have a mindset of privilege is to worship a false god, right? That's that I got the higher digits, right? So yeah, no, I think so this is what is emerging, right? a God that is not militaristic, right? This is not a militaristic God. Uh, but it is this is a militaristic God against privilege. That's where God's military might comes through, right? His military might does not come through in these stupid little wars that we all wage. Do do do. Okay, let's see. She cries bitterly in the night, her tears, cheeks. No one to comfort her. Many nations were friendly to her, but not one of them comforts her now. Right, and so what I'm hearing in this is, just Machiavellianness, right? I mean, like, oh, this guy's going to be my friend because we're both enemies of the same person. That line I hear comes from a man who is living in the Sahara, uh, a Muslim man, and he said that the enemy of my enemy is my friend. But he ended up losing to another Muslim man. I think they're Berbers of the Sahara. But they were they were just fighting, two guys fighting in the Sahara. But this guy got captured by his enemy and he died in captivity. So to take advice from that man is, not, we shouldn't take that advice. Then there's Machiavelli. I mean, he also was a failed politician. And so, why would we be taking advice from, do. I mean, maybe if the advice is so overwhelming and the circumstances, I mean, it's all about circumstances. Anyways, but yeah, no, I mean, this is not the way, I think like we could talk about connections, I mean, that's not real friendship. That's not real bonds. Uh, I mean, this is all like conniving, uh, toxic behavior. I mean, this is just not. And so, in a toxic environment, there's friendliness all around. Uh, but at a certain moment, boom, everything falls apart. Judah suffered much, and then she was taken into captivity. She lives among other nations, but has found no rest. People who chased her. And then we have more. These lines. This line right here. The roads are very sad because no one comes to Zion for the festivals anymore. That sounds like the first line. All her priests groan in sorrow. And so he's also very critical of the priests right here, and this is very common for the authors of the Torah to be upset with the other religious of their day. One of the things. What I'm saying is that a lot of the times when the authors of the Torah criticize the Jews for worshiping false gods, they're not criticizing the Jews for necessarily worshiping Baal. No, he's saying that no, they're worshiping the God. Some of them are worshiping the God of Moses. But if they're worshiping the God of Moses and yet they're living in materialism and privilege and worldliness, then they're not. If they're not living in merit, then they're living with the false god. And so that these are the false gods that they're talking about. Not Baal, not again, we have to recognize that Mordecai is a blasphemous name because it means follower of Marduk. Right? But any god of merit is the true God, no matter his name, no matter his personage or his costume. Any god of merit is the true God. Whether it be female or male, whether it be have a goat head or it be a cute little fairy. I mean, we're talking about the character of God here, not silly little titles. I mean, that is the world of privilege, is it not? Where someone is amazed by themselves because of their title, Lord of Awesome. No. So, boom, let's see. 16 minutes. All right. So this is clearly what's happening here. Again, this is about human behavior here. And this is ancient Jewish psychology, not modern Jewish psychology. No. Jerusalem's enemies have won. Her enemies have been successful. This happened because the Lord punished her. He punished Jerusalem for her many sins. Her children have gone away. Their enemies captured them and took them away. The beauty of the daughter Zion has gone away. Right, and so he's saying that beauty was never there. Right, this is false praise that is happening. Right, because the princes are dear. They walk away without strength from those who chase them. Right, that's not a... I mean, he's being very critical here. This is these are crocodile tears. Because again, he's righteous for his God. Right, this is his God is a God of bravery. Right, and the top Jew should be the brave Jew. Do you understand? The top Jew should be the brave Jew. And the brave Jew is a man who knights himself. Hey. She remembers the time when she was hurt and when she lost her home. She remembers all the nice things that she had in the past. She remembers those nice things that she had in the old days. She remembers when her people were captured by the enemy. So again, this is God is not a materialistic God. I mean, we should appreciate the things that we have in the now. We should not let the idea of the future things or the remembrance, possess us. This is clearly not a materialistic God. Because, I mean, what happens in a materialistic society is that relationships get destroyed. Right? The author of this Lamentations is really lamenting. I mean, because we could say that there is a true lamentations going on here, but that it would be hidden. Right? And he's lamenting a society that doesn't really honor love. Materialistic societies do not honor love. There's no value in listening. there's no value in receiving. You know, all value is in a cold, heartless giving. Um, I mean, yeah. So he's clearly saying that they're materialistic, and that this God is not a materialistic God, right? So God doesn't care about your bank account, right? He cares about your heart. You know, so brave and loving. This is a loving God, right? That's, I mean, we can still appreciate things. They just can't possess us and take us away from love. Right? Because materialism is easy. Love is can suck sometimes. Okay. I think we'll stop from there. Maybe I'll prepare more and read a bit. I don't know. But we'll continue later.